right, we're on to lesson 3 now. So now we've established that trading stocks is running a business. So let's talk about some of the advantages that this type of business has over all of the other, we're going to call them hustles or side hustles. That's the lingo today to describe anything you're doing to try and make a little bit of extra money on the side, or to get out of your job and to go in something full-time that you like to do. These are our hustles. So how is trading stocks better than any hustle? I think there's a few really important advantages that this has, although I hope no one is mistaken to think that I think that stocks is the only way that you can make money. Actually, any person who trades stocks should have a firm belief that we need lots and lots of entrepreneurs to go out and start great companies. We need CEOs, accountants. We need industry to exist. So it's actually not possible to say that all people should trade stocks, that it's great for everybody. That is the furthest thing from the truth. If everyone traded stocks, there would be no stocks to trade. There would be no value or speculation involved. And so that just kind of logically makes sense. But there are some advantages. And let's talk about advantage number 1. We talked about this in the previous video, but let's bring it up one more time. Overhead. There's practically no overhead. And so aside from some internet and a computer, a few things that you might need in your office or your little space that you have, there's really no overhead costs, and that's great. No employees, no dealing with angry customers, not a whole lot of headaches in that area of the business. There's a few technical things that you might run into downloading software, but all of that is really pretty minor. And so one of the great advantages is that there's such a low cost of doing business with trading stocks. It almost doesn't exist. Number 2 would be the ease of entry. So think about some other things that you could do to have a career or make money. I think one of the easiest ones to think of would be these really big companies that make, let's say, they refine oil. Can you imagine the amounts of billions of dollars that you would need to start an oil company? Because like the refinery itself might cost hundreds of billions of dollars, or the rights to dig for the oil, and lawyers to cover the legal cost, and blah, blah, blah. So there's certain industries and businesses that are almost impossible for the average person to get into. Now, to not be that extreme, what about if you just wanted to, let's say, open up a store or something, or let's go back to the convenience store. You want to open a gas station. Well, you've got to have maybe $250,000 to buy a cheap one. You have to get licenses. You have to take tests to get those licenses. You have to have all kinds of regulation and inspection of I'm talking about in the United States at least. You got to be inspected. You have to keep your inventory flowing so that your stuff doesn't go stale. Keep your sodas fresh or whatever you're doing, even the gas itself. And you're more endangered to, let's say, natural disasters. Like if there's a hurricane, you might have to shut down and not do business. During this coronavirus, the pandemic, a lot of people had to shut their businesses down, the face part of their business. And so there's a lot of risk, and there's a lot of blocks to entry that are put up by governments or by just the amount of capital that you need to get into doing a lot of businesses. You're also always liable to lawsuits. So in terms of trading your own capital, you basically don't have any real liabilities, except for the liability of making sure you don't lose your own money. But you're not really in danger of being sued for trading your own money. You're not going to have to worry about in the natural disaster. You know, you can carry your computer with you. You could leave town and go somewhere else and get on Wi-Fi and use it. There's very few circumstances where you would ever be barred or prevented from trading stocks. Now, there's a few regulations that the industry has put in that are really annoying, and I'll make a separate video for that. But suffice it to say, it's very easy for the average person to get into trading stocks versus almost any other kind of business. And that's a good thing, and a bad thing. The good part about this is it allows average people to do something even better with their life. It allows us to do things that we probably couldn't do without the help that having that extra money brings to us. And so, versus being like a doctor or a lawyer, you know, imagine going to school for like 10 years, paying $250,000 for your education, and then if you're lucky, you get into like a firm, and even then you have to go through all kinds of training, and then you can start making your six figures. But by then, you know, you're already like, you might already be middle aged and you have all this debt. So the stock market is a terrific aspect of business, in the aspect of low overhead and ease of entry. So those are the advantages that I would say are there for those who want to invest in the stock market. The disadvantages are going to be the loneliness, and I'm going to make a separate video talking about that up next. So stay tuned and hope that helps.